were good ones this week. I'm excited. I love the conversation. But now it is time to bring in our guest. I'm going to let her in. Would you like to tell us who we have this week?
Absolutely. So I'm actually very excited to introduce our guest today. She's Ricki Wilkins, Senior Franchise Developer with Decalash. So Ricki has done many things in her life, often going against the grain and playing in the Boys Club. But the common thread throughout everything she's done is her passion for promoting a product, service, or even an ideal. She's always been a bit of a performer. Even as an 11-year-old child, shaking and stammering, she proposed to her small town city council that they needed to open a dog shelter. It was her first sale, and obviously many since then. So welcome, Ricki.
Hello, pleasure to be with you.
We're so excited to have you. Do you mind telling us a little bit more about this dog shelter and what made an 11-year-old girl get up the courage to speak in front of the city council and advocate for a dog shelter? What made you do that?
Well, I suppose it was a passion. I was always the kid that was feeding, stray dogs behind the garage, sneaking food out of the house to kind of keep them going. And I was the kid that when they had puppies would take the little puppies and go around and knock on doors and try to find them homes. Aww. And we moved to a bigger town when I was about 10. And still there were a lot of stray dogs, but the way our house was configured, I couldn't hide them anywhere. So I had said to my father, somebody ought to do something about this. These poor things have no place to go and there's no water, and he probably listened to me talk about that several times. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, the next time there's a council meeting, let's go see if you can do something about that. Oh, I never dreamed that he would put me in that position, but that's exactly what happened. And we went to the council meeting and I was scared and nervous and I was probably close to tears, but I managed to spit out that there needed to be a place for these dogs to go. And they actually did a vote in front of me and they agreed to build a slab with a fence around it. But the deal was I had to come after school every day and change the water and make sure they had food and scoop up the,
The poo-poo.
Mm-hmm. So it was not only my first sale, it was my first job. It was an unpaid job, but again, it's that psychic income that somehow makes it okay.
Yeah. Well, and talking about your psychic income, you said, financial income is excellent. In your bio, you mentioned this, and I love this part, but the psychic income makes a big impact on you. So fast forward to today and what you're doing, and especially as a woman in industry, what defines your psychic impact?
Well, for me, there's such a reward in helping somebody find their path. Typically candidates come to us. We're more fortunate if we have a spot-on profile that comes with them. Yeah. But it's a way to, kind of help them tell you what they're looking for, what their dreams are, what their goals are, their challenges. And then, talking about this process that we have, taking them through it, learning more about them. The financial reward is great, of course, but the fact that we get to help somebody find their future and be that excited and that motivated to take that step, and it may be the first time they've ever done anything entrepreneurial, but the fact that we can kind of scoop them up and surround them with all these systems and processes and give them the comfort that they can dare to now do what they want, to follow their dreams.
Wow.
It's extremely rewarding.
Wow.
So that's my psychic income.
The psychic income is the fulfillment of seeing others be able to dream bigger and to know that those dreams are supported, in this case, by Decalash, and giving them a way to express themselves and create income and be a part of, like you said, a pack, their tribe.
Our wolf pack.
The wolf pack.
We have a saying in our company. We are changing lives one lash at a time. And that sounds rather bold, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is rather bold, but we believe it because we've got this great business model that can be very profitable, that can position somebody to be an owner-operator or perhaps take a semi-passive role. So we're changing the lives of our owners. We've got a product. You know, we have women coming into our studios and they walk out feeling beautiful and empowered and more confident, smiling. So we're literally changing their lives.
Yeah.
And then we're also changing the lives of our lash artists, because we're literally giving them a profession that they can be proud of. Our training is the best in the industry, but we're not just teaching them how to be a lash technician. We're teaching them about business. We're teaching them about customer service and how to be a brand ambassador. And we're respecting their goals, and we're rewarding their achievements, and we're bringing them into this wolf pack. They're employees, so they're not under the crunch of being in, a contractor, which is really the case a lot in the beauty industry. Mm-hmm. But we're also helping them be part of something bigger than themselves. And we get so excited when we hear that somebody's bought a new car or put a down payment on a house. We celebrate that because they can earn a really good income with a career path. So it's, again, more of that reward.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that in the beauty industry, the retention of employees is tough. And so for Decalash to take this approach, that this is going to be a career for the lash stylist. I don't know what the proper name is, so forgive me.
Lash artists.
Thank you. Lash artists, that they know that they can have a career and that this will be their tribe for a lifetime, and that that will lead them to greater financial freedom, the ability to buy the house that you talked about or that new car. It is indeed a career path for the lash artist, and then it's a business opportunity for the franchisee. And it's got to be, like you said, that psychic reward has got to be huge for all concerned.
And we have 86 open studios now. So we've even had situations where a lash artist lived in Pittsburgh and decided they wanted to move to Phoenix.
Good idea.
And went from one lash artist, one Decalash studio to another. So
fabulous.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So in terms of, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say we do a lot of things for women. I mean, when I always think about October, we get out the pink eyelashes, work with the Susan G. Komen organization. We have, they call them cosmeceuticals. These are cosmetics, serums that can help a cancer patient. Chemo. We can help them build and strengthen their lashes. And, as they start to come back, we can actually give them lash extensions. And again, it's about them feeling, beautiful again. or giving them some self-esteem again after going through something, you know, so traumatic. Sounds like a little thing, but it really is a big
deal. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Especially for women, where our hair and anything to do with hair, including lashes, really is sort of our crowning glory, right? It's a wonderful way to express our femininity, and so someone who's gone through that kind of struggle, to be able to get a part of that back, it's got to be, it's like getting a part of your identity back.
Yeah, a little more sense of normalcy as you're trying to recover from something traumatic. In terms of what you were just talking about, this being at your path for your lash artist, but also for your business owner, and the history you have in business, staying in male-dominated industry, going into more female-led businesses, and then over the years, talk to us about what that would have meant to you to have that kind of support. I'm assuming most of your owners are women, right?
A lot of them are, but sometimes we'll have male owners. We have a lot of people from the finance industry because the business can be so profitable. We have a lot of what we call power couples, husband-wife team. We have people who just want to build wealth and they put a manager in place. We have people that want to diversify their portfolios. Maybe they own other franchises and now they want to, you know, add something else to the portfolio. So we have a little bit of everything. I have been in male-dominated businesses most of my career, where long ago enough where there weren't many women. There were very few women. So it was, it seems like the right road for me to have been on to end up here. It's glorious.
Tell us more about that.
Say that the women in the franchise world, I just so enjoy working with them.
Yeah.
Well, and talk about your experience basically growing up in business through having those male-dominated industries and then transiting to female, and then how does that inform your leadership now?
So when I started in sales, it was all men. And I needed to work. I had a young family. I was a single parent. And I thank all of those men that I worked with because they paid me well, they promoted me. But when I did finally get to a place, I got into healthcare, there were a lot of women in that world. And I was so shocked by the fact that they didn't take very good care of one another. There seemed to be a lot of competition, I think, a lot of backbiting, a lot of just manipulating and literally being cruel to one another. And I never quite understood it, but I think I do understand it. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that, you know, when we grew up, we didn't do team sports. We didn't know about teams. It seems like everything we did, you were a cheerleader. It really wasn't a team effort. It was an individual effort. So I think a lot of women take competition personally. And it really is just a fact of business. And one day you might be the winner and one day the next person might be the winner. But as I went on, after I left the healthcare world, I went on to more male-dominated industries again. And like I said, I appreciate everything they've done for me. When I got into franchise sales, though, that's when I really connected with women in a more genuine way. I think that the women in franchising, this isn't their first or second or third job. They've been somewhere. They've had some experiences. I think they know better how to take care of each other.
Yeah.
And That's also been a reward for me.
I totally agree. I come from a similar kind of background, working in male-dominated industries and spaces myself, and coming through that, and to see in the world of franchising that one woman to another doesn't see each other as competition. And even if they do, they understand that co-opetition, collaborating.
Oh, I love that word.
So it's kind of, I can compete with you, but I can also collaborate with you, and we'll both benefit. And the franchise model in general is one where you understand another décollage could be a few miles down the road, and there is benefit in that décollage being down the road. So I'm not competition with them. In fact, she or they allows me greater brand recognition by being down the road. So the business model in and of itself is one that understands the importance of others, right? Mm-hmm. That we're not fighting each other. Let's cooperate. Let's collaborate. Let's, you know.
Absolutely right.
We got bigger fish to fry than to hurt each other, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I think we've come a ways.
We certainly have. We certainly have. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Elizabeth.
I was just going to say, in terms of advice for women coming up now, what would you tell them differently than you would tell yourself back when you were coming up? Because I think times have changed. I've always had this idea that with fewer women in leadership, there are fewer opportunities for women to lead, and therefore competition is increased, and maybe that plays into that guiding type of behavior. But as leadership roles have opened up for women, I think that is changing too. And I think the co-opetition attitude is becoming much more appealing because there is more room for everyone. So what do you think in terms of a girl graduating college, or a woman looking for a franchise opportunity? What kind of advice would you give a younger business person, woman?
Well, I've always sort of had a theory about excellence. And I would say, you know, it goes back to that saying, when you steal from one source, it's plagiarism. When you steal from every source, it's research. So be a researcher, listen, absorb, put it in your back pocket, save it, because you're going to be able to pull it out and use it someday. And if you just keep doing that throughout your career, I think you can't help but be successful.
Yeah,
I love that, and I completely agree. I've got a daughter graduating from college next week, actually, and she's a journalist, and one of the things she struggled with was criticism, you know, because online everybody can say anything.
Oh, yeah.
And my advice to her was, if you've done a good job, if you know you've done your research, if you know you've done the job right, then stand up straight and hold your head high and defend yourself. Like, I think that when you know you've done excellent work and you've done the research, there's no reason to doubt yourself at that point.
And doesn't it come back to betting on yourself?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, whatever anybody says or does, bet on yourself, follow your instinct.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, as you both pointed out, it's being open to feedback, what you're calling research. What do you think? What have you read? What have you observed? So it's taking feedback in one form or another and then applying it to our own lives. And ultimately it is betting on ourselves, you know, not in a vacuum or with ignorance, but trusting our own instincts, and at the same time being open to feedback.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think is so wonderful about franchising, because we've got all the systems and processes around somebody, you know, so that if they'll just follow them, you know, there's a very, very, very strong chance that they will be successful. But yet they still have to bet on themselves enough to take that step forward. And of course, that's what we're doing. We're giving them that confidence and that assurity that we'll be there for them.
So exciting. So exciting. Yeah, it's sometimes we need the faith of another in us, and that's what Decalash kind of gives. Is I believe in you, I trust you, I know you have it within you, until you can say, okay, I can do this.
Well, and I think that speaks too to something that you also wrote in your bio about your core values. And if anything ever conflicts with a policy, you revert to those core values. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that speaks to the atmosphere probably of your work environment, the way that you conduct sales, that kind of thing. I think it's huge and important.
It's an amazing culture that I have found myself in with this company. And it is truly one of the reasons why it was easy for me to make the move to Decalash. So it's a company filled with people who are passionate and caring and confident and have long and successful backgrounds in franchising. So we like to say we're a franchisor for franchisees. But in addition to that, we all belong to this wolf pack, where it's one for all for one. We have core values. We have carefully, made a list of them, the things that we think are most important. And while we certainly have processes and procedures in the company, just as any would, if there's ever a question about any of them, we revert to core values. So it's about being authentic, being in relationships, having each other's back. We also like to have a lot of fun.
That's important.
That's important as well.
Yeah. Play hard, work
Play
hard. Right? Right. It does always come back to those values, and to have them so clearly articulated within Decalash. A prospective franchisee can say, I share those values, I want to live those values. Or if it's not a good fit, which sometimes, someone can't, they don't want to be part of a wolf pack, they want to be lone wolves, right?
Yeah. This would be the right fit.
So that's
We even have a franchisee committee that are elected by the franchisees. So they have a voice always. They have a constituency that they can be involved in any of our conversations. We're very collaborative. But again, I think that's really important. That not a top-down organization. It's an organization that listens and collaborates and knows that some of the best ideas come from the franchisee community.
So true.
I love it. And it makes everybody, when you feel heard and seen, regardless of what level of the company you're involved in, you're so much more willing to give and participate and be creative. So I think that is empowering to everybody, from the last technician to the owner to the franchisor to everybody, don't you think? I mean, that it sounds like the culture is just very appealing.
It is. You're exactly right, Elizabeth.
Well, we are winding down. It's been so great to have you. The last question we ask is, how can someone get in touch with you if they are interested in Decalash on any level?
Oh, well, that's easy. I'm on LinkedIn. I can be reached by phone, 937-289-4050. Or you can email me at rw@decalash.com. I'm sorry, rw@zsprout, ZEESPROUT.com.
Great. And we will have that in the show notes as well online. Thank you, Ricki, so much. I think this has been a great conversation in line with what we love to talk about and celebrate. Yeah. And I just really appreciate your time. This has been great.
Well, thank you so much. I'm proud to have had the opportunity and honored, actually. So great speaking with both of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricki.
And we will be right back with Women in Milk.